Hi, this is Tracy from Gift Basket Appeal, and today I'm going to show you how to turn this tissue box into a flower box for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So let's get started. I'll be sure to list all of the supplies I use below. First, what you want to do is seal your box a little bit better. This one is coming apart right over at the seams here. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and just seal it a little bit. That way it's not sticking up too much. Then I'm going to take my scissor and I'm just going to cut this off because I really want it to be a box right around the edges here. I'm just going to cut those edges off. That way I can fit my flowers in there. And that just came apart, so I'm going to go ahead and seal that back up. And you could use any shape box that you want. I just chose to use something that was a little bit, somewhat close to a square. And I'm just going to go back and just reinforce my box here. Okay, so that's what it looks like inside. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and paint it. This is somewhat of a bright pink paint. It's called Diva pink. And I thought we'd go really bright on this one. Something to perk up someone's day. I'm going to make sure I put my paper here to protect my area. I'm going to paint my box and make sure I get some really good coverage on it. And sometimes you can't always tell how much paint you'll need or how many coats. I try to go for 2 coats, but sometimes I have to add a 3rd coat. So I want this to be really covered up. Really being generous with my paint. And I'm also going to paint the bottom of my box. Sometimes I leave it the way it is, but I feel like painting the bottom. Okay, and so it's going to need another coat. So I'm going to paint, let this dry, paint another coat, and then we'll come back and let you see what it looks like. Okay, so our box is all painted and dry. I did have to put on a 4th coat on this one, and I think it's just because of the ink on the box, the original box. But I like the way it came out. I love that vibrant pink color. And now I'm going to go and put in my floral foam. And I just had, the floral foam came like this, I just cut it in half. And I'm going to glue it in the bottom because I do want this to be permanent. Just going to hot glue that and put it in there. And I want my flowers to come up higher. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one right on top. And just put it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and decorate my box. And what I want to do is I want to make the breast cancer ribbon. and I want to actually make it using these. So that's going to be my challenge. What I'm going to do is use some of my art glitter glue to glue these on. And this glue has really good staying power, so. Okay, so I'm going to just start, I'm going to start at the top. And I know the ribbon has to go like this, so I guess the challenge is to make sure that it's kind of in the center. But I'm going to start with the top part first. And I'm going to use this quick stick, which comes in very handy for picking up these little items. I like this glue because it dries clear. And I'm just hoping that I can get this right. I can use this other end to kind of shift it around here. So we'll see how it goes. Now it did work fine when I used it on a sheet of paper, so we will see. Still moving it around just a little bit. This is one of those crafts that takes a little bit more patience. Watch TV or play some music while you're doing this, whichever you prefer. So I'm just kind of curving around a little bit. And I'm kind of doing this free-handed. If you want to draw it on there first and then place your rhinestones on top of it, you can, because no one will really see it. And that's where it intersects, and then I'm just going to bring a few rhinestones down there and a few rhinestones down that way. So I'm kind of liking this. I was a little bit iffy about whether it was going to work or not. And if you need to move it around while it's still wet, you can. And that's what it looks like so far. Not too bad. And I don't mind this right here. That will dry up. And now I have to decide whether I want to go around my edges. Just right around there with that. We'll see. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to be brave. Now there is a faster way to do this. You can buy the rhinestones. I think they come like in a string of rhinestones, and that'll make it quicker. It's just that I have so many individual ones. But I'll have to look for those string of rhinestones myself and make projects like these go a little bit quicker. But I'm okay. Okay, so I'm all done attaching my rhinestones, and I did decide to go around the edges here, and I left this out since I'm going to have my flowers in the top, and I left this side empty, and then I put some on this side. So if you think you're going to be putting this on a shelf, then you should only do maybe one side. It's up to you. But if it's going to be on a table, maybe some kind of table decoration, then you might want to do both sides. And so now I also went and sprayed it using the Aleene's acrylic sealer gloss finish. So it does have a glossy look to it. There it is. Yeah, it's got a nice glossy look. So I thought that was pretty nice to just add that little bit of sheen, and it also works as a sealer. And so now we're going to add our flowers. And so I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to do the white and put maybe a little bit of pink in there. I think this would be maybe too much pink, so maybe I'll just do a combination of them. We'll see how it goes. It's always the fun part is adding in the flowers. Don't you love when you craft and the craft actually comes out a lot better than you had originally thought? Because I had this thought in my mind for such a long time, but I wasn't sure what box I would use. And so this really came out nice. Loving the way the colors are just blending together. And then if you want, you can take the green leaves off if you don't want the greenery on there. It's up to you. And maybe now I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these off. Maybe pop that around the middle there. See how that looks? That kind of breaks up a little bit of the pink, so it's not so much. Just going to see what it looks like without the greenery in there. So you can really play around with this and decide what you want, because it's your creation. Reposition this a little bit more so it's kind of covering up, coming over the front of that. These still have a little bit of greenery on them. I'm just going to go ahead and pop those off. And I don't have any more white flour, so I'm going to go ahead and put another pink flower in there. So it looks pretty from every angle. Let's put another one in there. This is actually the fun part, arranging it and putting it all together. And I'll just slip this in that side there. And now we have a nice container. How pretty that looks. And you could always go back and push your flowers way in there if you want. You can make them longer. I just like that condensed box. And isn't that pretty? You can put that on someone's shelf. You can use this as table decor. I will post pictures at the end for you. And please, please, please go and have your yearly checkup. And for those of you that are in that battle with breast cancer, I pray for you. And I'm just so glad I can do this and share. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Bye.